Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today I'm bringing you guys an excellent OU match that I hope will end your weekend nicely, I guess I want to say. But this match is actually against Diviny from the Wi-Fi Battle Finder, and it was a great match, I can say, right from the beginning. And so he leads off with his Alakazam, and I lead off with my Choice Banded Terrakion. And I go for the close combat because I know Choice Banded will definitely take out an Alakazam, but he actually has Sash, so which is actually a viable set, and I actually run one myself. So he goes for the sidekick and takes out my Terrakion, and I don't think that defense drop mattered. So if I did go for the X Scissor, he would have taken me out anyways. Now I switch into my Heat Ran, and I know he has Focus Blast, but I know it wouldn't be doing much. So I go out into my I go for the Stealth Rocks this turn, but that kind of did a lot more than I thought because he does not have Life Orb, and I didn't think it would be doing that much. But I go out to my Celebi, and this time he actually misses the Focus Blast, but he goes for the Shadow Ball right afterwards, and does a little more than half, and gets a special defensive drop as I go for the Sidekick and take his Alakazam out. And that Spadef drop actually kind of mattered, I think, because no, it didn't matter this turn. What am I talking about? He goes out into his Salamence, and I make kind of a questionable play, I guess here. I go out into my Scissor, predicting an Earthquake because I do have Heatran on my team, and he goes for the Flamethrower. I kind of I don't know if I would say over predicted, but he went for the safe Flamethrower and just takes out my Scissor. But I go out into my Cloyster and scare him out with a Ice Shard. I mean, not Ice Shard, but Icicle Spear, and that is what I go for. This is actually a defensive Cloyster with Rapid Spin and Toxic Spikes, I believe, but I never got around to putting those up because I was always in kind of a pinch. So that Icicle Spear it only does about like a fifth, so I have to switch out because I cannot do anything. As he goes for the Sidekick, as I go into my Celebi, and here this is kind of a stall-y-ish part, as he goes for Calm Minds, and I believe I go for the Hidden Power Fire, and I go for that here, and it does about a fourth, I believe. But this turn, I'm going to go for the Nasty Plot as he goes for the Sidekick, and that Sidekick does. It looks like it looks like a 3-hit KO, I mean, but he gets a special defensive drop, and I believe this part is where that mattered because after this turn, and as I set up my Nasty Plot, he goes for the Sidekick, and it is going to be able to take me out. So that this part really actually did matter, I think. I don't think it was too game changing, but it kind of stung. Now I go onto my Heatran because it is my special defensive wall, and I think Sidekick is the only move he can go for because I think his other moves are Wish and Protect, but I kill him off and with a Lava Plume because I do get the crit, which is kind of making up for that special defensive drop, I think. But he goes on to a Salamence as the Stealth Rock's damage is kind of taking a toll on him. And he goes for the Brick Break, which is kind of, I'm thinking he has a Scar. No, wait, what am I talking about? You see leftovers. So I show that I am an Acrobatics Tornadus as I just take him out clean with the Flying Gem boosted Acrobatics. And he goes on to his Cloyster, which is also his defensive wall, and I switch out because I do fear the Ice Shard or the Icicle Spear, and go out to my Heatran to sponge easily his Icicle Spear, and he gets crits on these, but I don't think it matters because he won't be able to take me out next turn with one since I do have leftovers recovery. And I don't know what I was predicting here, but he switches out and goes out into his Tyranitar to set up his Sandstream, but this will prove to kind of benefit me later on too, as I go for the Lava Plume, and I think I get the burn. Yeah, I do get the burn, so Tyranitar won't be proving to be as much of a threat as it could be without the burn. So he gets burn damage, and I go for the Protect, kind of scouting out which move he would go for. And he goes for the Stone Edge, and I think he's predicting me to go on to something else next turn. So I kind of predicted him to go for another Stone Edge because I do have everything on my team is kind of weak to it, I think, but he just goes for the superpower because that is super effective, and I guess he predicted me to stay in. So that was a good play on him, and I just go out to my Tornadus because now I find this as an opportunity to bulk up because I do have Prankster and I do get that priority, and it gives me he is burned and I have that bulk up, so it is like +1 defense and -2 attack for Tyranitar. but it is kind of doing a lot of damage, and it's scaring me because I only have like a couple turns left to live because of the sandstorm. So I have 42 HP left because of that, and I was fearing that his Haxorus was scarfed, but I kind of risked it, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. My Tornadus dies, and his Haxorus is kind of a big threat, and I have my Cloyster, which is physically defensive, as I said. So this break only does about a third, so that is really good for me, and I will be able to revenge kill this Haxorus with an icicle spear. And now, as the Haxorus goes down, I get the sandstorm damage and leftovers recovery, so it is equaling out the damage. And now, this part, it's the next 4 minutes of this battle is going to be my Cloyster against his Cloyster, and getting up the Stealth Rocks earlier really helped. Stealth Rocks it's so important in the meta games of any tier, and this is just proving why, because there are a lot of pokes that are weak to Stealth Rocks, and every time it switches in, it will either take a quarter or half the HP, depending on if you're weak to it or quad weak to it. So this part, or actually the whole rest of the game, we're just going to go for Icicle Spears and gonna take sandstorm damage and leftovers recovery. So it's going to be kind of long. I'm sorry, I didn't really skip this part, but I really should have, but I didn't. So we're taking like 4 to 5 damage per Icicle Spear, and it's doing a total of about 25 or 28 damage ish due to minimax. And this part was so painful because when I was playing this game, I was shaking because we are almost at identical health. We have almost identical EV spreads, but he has a little more speed IVs or EVs, so he is outspeeding me. And this game will come down to the littlest thing, as we just keep going for Icicle Spears because we don't really see anything else that we can do. It is our only attacking moves, and I am only in this long because I did have that Stealth Rocks up, and he did take 25% every time he switched in. So it really did help me. And so as we just keep Icicle Spearing away, I'm just going to say a couple things. I'm sorry I haven't been able to upload a lot. It's really hard to get some decent battles going because on Smogon there are a lot of problems. Sometimes it won't load, so it won't even load for me sometimes, and other times there's just really crappy battles. They're really one-sided, and there's just a lot of disconnectors, which really pisses me off. But it's okay, I guess. That is the nature of this game. So I'm sorry about that. And so getting back into this game, it is getting a lot closer. So we're just keep going for Icicle Spears, and these are quad resisted, so it's so painful to watch this. I know, I'm sorry, but it is a really good game because it did come down to really small things. And now we're still at identical health, and I think this Icicle Spear or the next Icicle Spear, he gets a couple crits, so that's gonna go into favor for him, because if I do not get any crits for myself, he will be able to win this. Well, yeah, he will be able to win because he has a couple more damage than me, and we are doing identical damage, which is like 4 to 5 every Icicle Spear. So it's coming to the end because we are at red health, and sandstorm damage does do 6% HP, I think, and we see that his Cloyster does outspeed me, and so that will actually be the deciding factor of who wins this game, because if he crits me enough to where he lives the sandstorm damage and I died to the sandstorm damage, that will prove to be his win. But if he does not do enough damage to kill me, and I do enough damage to get him down to where sandstorm kills him, because since he does outspeed me, he takes the sandstorm damage first, and that is actually going to be what it comes down to, if I die from the sandstorm damage or if he dies first from the sandstorm damage. So it's coming down to the wire. We are both at low HP, and he goes for that. He goes to the Icicle Spear, and I live with 9 HP. And the last Icicle Spear, it looks like a sandstorm damage will kill, but yes, it does. So that will be the win for me, and I also die. So I think this is a tie. I have no idea, and It is a 0-0. I guess it's a double down, so I think it's a tie. But the question of the day is, what do you guys think it is? I will have you guys be the deciding factor. Do you guys think it is a win for me or a tie? So leave your answer in the comment section below, and leave a like, comment, rating, a subscription, or a comment if you enjoyed. And I will see you guys later.